Kağıt yapabilir. Ah,
İyi denemeydi olsun.
Okay. Hocam sunum yaptınız mı? Okay. Well.
Because he or she's dead. So I know, like there are, we're talking about a student, so the problems that can a student have is predictable. It can be a problem with his family, maybe with his friends. If he had bad habits like getting alcohol,
Okay.
maybe having relationships with wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
All right. Some people believe the reason that most of the students attempt suicide because they can't manage to pass the the national exams, or they can't get enough points for their let's say aimed universities. What do you think about this?
Hocam bir şey sorayım mı? Geç geldin de konu ne?
So we're actually talking about the some students, actually not some students. Time to time, you hear the students attempt suicide. So we are talking about their problems. Why do you think that these people they attempt suicide? So if I mentioned maybe because of some bad habits such as alcoholics or etc. Or
Probably,
hanging out with the bad people. So if you have anything to share, feel free. Because this is a discussion
Yani
now.
Türkçe konuşabilir miyim yoksa İngilizce sadece?
English, please. Because this is English course now.
Okay. Some people have a more stressful situation. You know how everybody's mind is different, right?
Yep.
And most students' minds start to change around the time that they're going to high school or the end times of middle school.
Uh-huh.
And some stressful situations might happen around those times. And if you look at most of kids' mental illnesses that is caused by their surroundings,
Mm-hmm.
most of the causes happen when they're around either 1 through 3 or 4, and 7 or around 15 or 16, if I'm remembering right. It was around those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And this is because they have, of course, they go to school. There's the stress of homeworks, and there's the stress of exams, and maybe most children have one way or another. Maybe they have parental issues or something at their homes.
Mm-hmm.
And at some places like America, this stress level goes higher and higher because this is of course changes from culture to culture. But most children, I'm going to give America as an example because I think it's the most known place as stressful school locations or school uh,
Mm-hmm.
teachings, I guess you could say. Um, and the stressful situations combining from year to year and the pressure that most children get that they should be quiet or that they're just making things up with the older generations, their parents not believing in them,
Mm-hmm.
that there's something wrong with them. This builds up from this starts from most likely middle school to and goes to high school, and this starts to turn into a problem, a mental issue. And some people get over it, some people's parents help them, some people get extra help with therapists or stuff, but the people that either their parents don't believe,
Mm-hmm.
which is a majority, or they just can't open up, these people are the most likely people that um, thinks about ending it because the only other way is just death for them
Mm-hmm.
because their parents didn't teach them another way out. They don't know another way out, and it might become too much for them after a point.
But do you think that this is all? I mean, do we have to blame all directly to parents? Because time to time, in United States, many schools receive a counselors, just like in Turkey. However, the main purpose of counselors, their aim to lower the pressure on the students, the ease, just ease up the burden for the student. However, another interesting example came from our country. Uh, we can hear these kind of news when we are close to the national exams, such as
Mhm.
ÖSS, LGS, or if you have another exam which I don't know, you will hear definitely one or two news just like this. But when you go deep into this conversation, you realize actually the main problem was they were either received too much pressure from their parents or uh, another important factor is they have a specific aim, like they want to go and study, for example, in Boğaziçi University, but
Mm.
unfortunately they receive less points and they missed the chance. As a result, they think that this is the end of the world, although this is not. And since they don't have suitable guidance, in a matter of speaking, because
Mhm.
now neither their parents or the counselors, they don't know how to guide the student throughout this process, and as a result these students, these young people, try to end their life despite that they think that there is no other option, although there is a couple of them. uh,
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Efe.
So we have talked about revolts, and
Not
when they are
revolts,
think,
actually. We are talking about some students' uh, suicides. Do you know what does
huh?
it mean, suicides, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we talk about actually, Ibrahim gives some examples from United States, the many reasons that.
Actually, I can give an excellent example on the pressure of exams, but after you finish, of course.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. He gave a couple of examples from United States, and he also mentioned
Okay,
that.
get it. But
Yeah, I know.
after the result, they are doing revolt. So there will be a revolt. So if we say why are they revolting? So
No, the question was we are looking into why these young men or women
okay,
attempt.
I'm nedenini söylüyorum ben de şu an.
Do you think that just because of the revolt? Is that correct?
Şu an geliyorum. Oraya geleceğim.
Okay. Let's wait then.
Ee, you have put a words in exam,
Mhm.
online exam,
Okay.
and you wrote this words. If you a kids don't tidy his room, so his mom giving a prize for to the his room,
You
and
mean
he's doing.
tidy up his room?
Yeah,
Hmm?
I'm sorry. And after that bu alışkanlık haline geliyor.
Mhm.
After this, when they study at school, his goal was take a good note. So he wants to take 100 or 90. I don't know. So when they when they didn't take enough notes marks, so
All right.
it caused this.
All right. Ibrahim, let's hear your example, and then I'm gonna move on to the next discussion topic.
Okay. Well, it's actually a friend of my mother's. While my mother was, of course, in school. Her friend was nerd. Yeah, a nerd. I couldn't find the word for it. Her friend was such a nerd that. By the way, I'm not saying nerd as an insult, as
No, I know. You mean
yeah,
as a
okay, you
student
get it.
who work hard, right?
Yeah.
All right.
This friend of my mother's, he worked so hard for the exam, extremely hard. Like, I can't give you numbers, of course. She can't give you numbers too. It was long ago, but like at levels that would get him into an extreme place. Like if he worked for a scientist, he could most likely solve the rules of the universe. That's hard. And before the exams, the pressure of the exam actually builds up so much that his brain just cracked. Like he turned into a baby, literally. No, not literally, as in his conscience. I no, conscience is the right word.
Can we say that it's
His,
mentally collapse?
yeah, his mental state. Yeah, his mental state turned to an equal of a 1-year-old child
Ah, okay.
from
So,
the stress.
in a matter of speaking, his mental state is collapsed rapidly, or let's say,
In a second, just
yeah.
crack there and there.
Ah, okay. So this is another important factor, actually. You know, the psychological factor effect largely on students. Just like, you know, I always told you guys in English. I know that the lesson is not so, let's say, happy ending, but psychologically, I do my best to make these lessons, let's say, funny, or more interesting as possible. And if you notice, I never forced you into something in this course. The only reason I did that is psychologically it helps you to become eased, and you will be more relaxed. As a result, things will be much more easy. Thank you very much, Ibo. Now, let's continue with Göktürk. Göktürk,
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Göktürk, do you know what does it mean fake news?
Fake news?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think about the impact on society about the fake news? Let's say if I said Gökten has become the president of Turkish Republic.
Well, actually, it's not a fake news, no.
well, in a matter of speaking, yeah. But let's say
Wait.
if I did.
Wait,
And
are you asking me the impact of fake news on, like, I
let's
didn't
say,
understand.
let me give you an example. Let's say you sit in
Okay.
your house with your family and you were all watching news, okay? And suddenly you receive a message from one of your close friends, and he said that, oh my God, Göktürk, are you become a president now? And you just, no. But man, people talk about you, bro. Just open Twitter. And when you open the Twitter, people send tons of messages by saying, Göktürk become a president of Turkish Republic and he was elected as a president, blah, blah, blah. And you were all, you possibly shocked, right?
Yeah.
But this message go throughout the country and people know this message. And they don't know whether it is fake news or not. But you know that it is fake. Now, what I want to ask, I just give you this as an example, of course, but let's say another news, the news can be fake. If you send it through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or any social media, what do you think? How does this message or how does this fake news affect people in this country? I'm not talking about the present issue. I'm just talking about any fake news.
Okay. First of all, I think the fake news thing ruins the people's trust on the, I don't know, the news departments, I'm going to say, but not the ones that are belongs to what was that? Dakika. I'm a little bit confused by the way. I don't know why, but
that's okay. That's totally
I
fine.
can't.
That's totally fine. Totally fine.
Okay, let's talk about some different things. I think, as I said, it ruins people's trust on the news departments, and also I want to give you an example about it. When I heard the news about Kobe Bryant's death and his daughters, I first thought that it was fake because of there was a story, like, I don't know its English version, if there is one, I don't know. But Yalancı Çoban'dı galiba adı.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The situation is like that one.
They had a story like this, but I don't remember the name of the story. They had like this one.
Yeah, you can't know, like, you don't know. Bir dakika, konuşamıyorum.
That's
Bir
fine.
saniye.
Take your time. Take your time.
Biraz yavaşlayayım. You don't know whether it's real or it's fake. You just read it and this might be real or fake. But I don't know. I think the hot air and the stuffs hit me hard. My head.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. At least I get what I wanted from you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I may have one thing to say more.
Okay. I know that if this is no hot weather, you will say more things, but this is totally fine. Thank you very much, Göktürk.
Okay.
Now let's go to another person, which is Mr. Comrade.
Tennis.
He knows.
Hello, yeah.
Hello, yeah. Boy. Okay, what do you think about this situation? Do you think that the fake news affect society? If so, how?
Well, I think that it actually affects the people a lot.
Okay.
And you can see it when you walk in the neighborhood or ask something to someone. These fake news are the best weapon in government, you know.
Or any
You
government,
can-
actually.
Any government, yeah. So you just throw some money on the news department or something like that, and say that now compliment me and just make some news that
Yeah.
aren't real.
Guys, have you ever watched the Netflix TV series called Narcos? Has any of you watched it?
I was watching a lot, so
That TV series Narcos is the TV series talking about the year where Pablo Escobar was on the reign, sorry. And you know Pablo Escobar, right? Have you ever heard it?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
But those who didn't, Pablo Escobar is some sort of, let's say, a mafia, in a matter of speaking.
So is it right to teach us that?
No, but the reason that I'm talking, Pablo Escobar has a very interesting character actually. Compare with the other, mafiosos, Pablo Escobar wants to become the president of Colombia.
Teacher,
Yeah.
isn't the Escobar was a cartel
Yeah. But yeah, actually,
instead
yes.
of mafia?
Yeah. The term is wrong. Sorry. Cartel is a better. I don't know why I say mafia. Maybe I don't remember. It's okay. But let's say he's a leader of a cartel, and despite the other, criminals, he wants to become the president of Colombia. And in order to do that, he invented an interesting strategy. He pay couple of let's say news reporter, and he shoots couple of news in his hometown, and he just used the cameraman. People just go in front of the camera and they say that, hey, Pablo wants to become president, blah blah, like that, just in order to show to the world that Pablo Escobar is not a bad man, as actually he care about the people. And at first he act like he didn't care about politics, but then he shows some attempts, and he used time to time he used fake news as well, just to change the idea of the people. He not use, of course, in that moment there wasn't any online news channels. Instead, here he was using newspapers and the TV to do that. And that comes with another question. What? Someone sent me a message.
Hocam internetim çok kötü de her an şey olabilir. Sesiniz
fine.
kesik kesik geliyor.
That's fine. If you go up, try to connect again. Okay?
Okay.
And let's go to another person. Who wants to be? Actually, this question I want to ask Gökdeniz, you will jump into this. But let's see. How can we reduce the wealth gap between rich and poor? I was really happy when I found out this question. You want to join, or you want to listen the others first? What's your idea? Because I have someone in my mind. I'm gonna ask the question. But
I will speak later. No, not
Okay.
a problem.
Babusha? Babusha,
Evet hocam.
what do you think about this question? How can we reduce the wealth gap between rich and poor people? And of course, in English, please, if you don't mind.
I know.
Yeah, here we go.
I don't know. I'm not sure because I never think about this.
Well, you're
Actually.
always inventing something, so I thought that you had some ideas about this.
No, I don't have any idea because I never think about this.
That's actually a great way, because as you know, in many third nation countries or many poor countries, the differences between, even in our country, between the rich people and poor families, it's huge. It's a real huge.
Normally, we are discussing these topics like this or another sustainable um, European topics. We are discussing about this, but we never talked this. I just realized now.
Ah, okay. Maybe it's a great way to invent something, eh?
Yes, yes,
Alright.
thank you.
Okay then. Anybody wants to talk about this? Or shall I give this microphone to Gökdeniz directly?
Could you say again? I didn't understand. I
Okay.
didn't understand well.
Here's the question. I'm asking, how can we reduce the wealth gap between rich and poor people? How can we reduce that? Because we know that there's a huge gap between the rich and poor families, right?
Right.
So, any idea, or shall I give this chance to Gökdeniz now?
Ya azaltmak
Reduce.
biliyorum da nasıl azaltacağız o da sıkıntı işte.
I can.
Okay, then let's give this chance to our lead, Gökdeniz, for this. Gökdeniz, here we go.
So, when you look at the industrializing thing
Mhm.
in our society now,
Mhm.
you can see that the capital is growing,
Mhm.
and it causes the reduces in the workers' wages. You know,
Yeah, correct.
so the system right now
Mhm.
just say to you the raise my capital, grow my capital, just make money, profit.
Yeah, profit is
and-
important.
And how can you profit through the producing?
Yeah.
You just reduce the wages of the workers, you know.
Yeah. And you know, yeah, go ahead.
And it's not adil.
Fair. It's not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair, you know.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I was literally expecting everything that you said now.
So we can't think or imagine a small change, you know.
Yeah. You know, between the 1940 to 1950 in the United States, actually, there was an attempt to change this situation. People who work in factories, you know, dockyards, blah blah, they try to create some sort of worker associations. It's like more like combined and more reasonable groups. I mean, if a worker had a problem, these associations will help them. However, these associations, unfortunately, controlled by some of the local Italian mafiosos, and as a result, the things that you said exactly happened in this period as well. But you remember, Gökdeniz, I think yesterday, Mutlu Hoca mentioned that workers in Brazil, they have a right, they have a share in the factories, or it was in Spain, I'm not sure. She talked about the Cordoba, remember?
Yes.
For example, maybe if the workers have enough rights, like, you know, wage issues, or if they have some insurance, in a matter of speaking, I'm not talking about the insurance, but I'm talking about the safety, because if something happened to them, what about their families, right? Nobody cares about them unless they were, you know, work.
Say something.
Yeah. So.
And I want to say the solution about this. Yeah.
Go ahead.
As I say a minute ago, you can't just think a small thing to change that.
Mhm.
It's impossible because the system right now is bigger than you think. You can't say that. Let's just improve the wage of the workers. Yeah, you can't say that because that's not realistic.
Right.
You need to think something different. You have to overthrow the system
Mhm.
and take the meaning of productions
Okay.
and just produce. Just produce for yourself, not for your boss.
Mhm. Yeah. This kind of attempt was actually exists around Soviet Russia period. I don't know the exact era, but I read a couple of articles about it. I'm not talking about the Stalin's at the time, but the other period. I'm talking about this. So, thank you very much, Guktins. And how many minutes do we have, by the way? Can I ask another question?
7.
7? Perfect. Good. Then let's talk about our next discussion. Do you like this discussion topics, by the way?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, I like the final one.
I know. I know that. I literally save it for you only. Okay. Now, let me ask you something about our country. Do you think that our, let's say, celebrities treated unfairly by our media? What do you think? Let's
What do you mean by unfair?
like, let me give you a basic example. You all know who Alena Tilki is, right?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Repeatedly.
some media channels said because of the age, despite her age, she entered couple of nightclubs. She danced like the maniac, and so she's not a good example for our daughters. Do you think that this is a fair critic or just it's an unfair way?
So,
Yes, let's start with you, Efe.
if they are showing their daughter who's a kid, it's a problem because her daughter shouldn't see her because she shouldn't have a social media account or she shouldn't have a Twitter so that she can see her. Or if we think about teenagers, they have enough enough enough mature to think that what she's doing is not right. So I think again the problem is with parents. Instead of blaming Alena, I think it's their problem.
All right.
Can I add something to
Go
this?
ahead.
I'm going to ask Efe something. Efe, Karadeniz orada. Efe, do you know that YouTube has an 18 plus age restriction?
Yes.
Which not working at all.
Yes.
Yeah, and because of that, Copa finally catch up with YouTube and gave a fine of
Actually,
$45,000.
I think it was 13 plus. Is see, normal
13
YouTube
or
was made
18
for
plus.
13 plus.
Uh-huh.
YouTube Kids was made for anyone below 13.
I see. Okay, go ahead, Ibrahim.
Okay, so 13 plus. But most of the YouTubers, as you can say, target audience is around
50.
what? The popular ones are 5 10.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
the ones that
unfortunately.
YouTube is
Like,
at least used to advertise. Now they are just advertising. I don't know if I can. Is this recorded?
No, sir.
yes.
I
No,
mean,
Oh,
it's
not
on live, but it's not recorded.
Okay,
still online.
so YouTube is now just advertising porn at this point. If you look at anything that YouTube advertises below videos, it's just porn, nothing else. But if I don't remember it wrong, 2 months ago from this, or 3 months ago from this, you could find dancing eggs, Minecraft videos everywhere, even if you're always looking something 15 plus, 18 plus. And what I'm trying to say here is that everyone will get past rules. The internet is an open place. Every 5-year-old kid can Google up hot boobs and go to any site that they want.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, I think our father's generation was Z.
No,
Or
not
No,
Gen Z is us.
Z is
Z is
yours.
us. Then
Z
Z is
yours.
us. Berkay Hoca is technically a millennial,
Yeah.
and our fathers and mothers are.
They are more like X. The
Yeah.
X
then
generation.
I think it's millennium. Like the kids, who, the mother and father who has kid like 1 or 2 years old.
No,
He got
millennials
that.
are I think if I remember correctly, around 20 to 20 it's Zoom, Gen Z, yeah, around 20. The final is around 20. It's Gen Z, the Zoomers, and around to 35 it's millennials, and then over that is boomers.
But
Okay.
even just because, sorry to interrupt, just because of they say boomers, they didn't love this. So the X generation, instead of saying boomers, they go with X. And mine, despite of millennial, my generation decided to use Y. Time to time, you will hear this a lot. And of course, yours are the technological maniacs, I will call in a matter of speaking. But yours is just fine with anything. Like they can go with say, they could go with, I don't know,
It's
techno
either
year.
Gen Z or
Yeah,
say
they
the
use
official
anything.
one at
Yeah,
least.
they use anything that they like. And yes, Efe, please continue.
So you're right. Like every corner of internet is reachable for every age. So that's the biggest problem. Like being a parent today is really hard because your child can get in everywhere. As you said, in maybe in bad sites or just watching things that just melting his or her brain. So that's why parents should be more careful.
Right.
Like in past, it was not like this.
Right.
You wasn't able to reach any of this. Like maybe you can buy a magazine, but the shop won't give you. But now, just a phone is enough. So I still think it's parents' fault because like it's really hard to look what your child's doing every second, and it's pretty impossible. But it's still their responsibility.
To sum up, can we say that actually, since the technological advancement happened all the time, as a result, these kind of things will exist more?
Like I think the best solution is to don't let teaching them technology, like giving them a phone or maybe tablet in maybe 10 years old when they are, or 7 maybe. but not less. Because if they see them in when they are a baby, it's a real big problem. They become addicted.
Can I say something?
Actually, our time's up. And yeah, so that's all for today, guys. Thank you for coming, and see you for the next lesson, which is tomorrow. All right. Take care of yourself.
But I'm gonna say something.
Yeah, you can. The rest can go
I,
now. Thank you.
I was wonder about. I was wonder that how they're finding these